Coldwell Banker Excel here in Elko, Nevada, and I'm here today with Tiffany Taylor from First Colony Mortgage. She's going to talk to us today about managing our credit scores, and she's going to give us some awesome tips. So I'll hand it over to Tiffany and let her do the talking.
Thank you, Aubrey. Okay, so I'm going to talk to you today about managing your credit score. Just a few tips. Somewhat obvious things would be borrow only what you can afford to repay. Make all your payments on time. Avoid excessive credit inquiries because every inquiry can ding your credit score. Also, a rainy day fund. Have money saved for an emergency. So that way if something does come up, you have the money to pay for it.
That's great, and we are learning a lot about that in our financial group with Dave Ramsey. That definitely that's a big deal to have your emergency fund in place. So most of you have already gotten that, which is great.
That's fantastic.
Yeah. Yes.
Other thing is check your credit report annually. Check it to make sure that one, nobody's stolen your identity, you don't have lines of credit on there that aren't yours, or if there's anything that's wrong, you have time to fix it and repair it before it gets out of control. The not so obvious things about managing your credit would be don't open new store credit cards to get the 10% off.
Oh, really?
I know. So usually when you open up those department store credit cards, yes, you get 10% off, but what's your interest rate?
Probably 20%.
18 to 24.99%. So the 10% savings, is it worth it? Probably not.
No.
The other thing is new accounts can also lower your credit score, and too many payments can be difficult to manage, which then can also hinder your credit score because you forget to make a payment.
Definitely.
Then you have late payments and you don't want those. Do not close old accounts. If you have a good record of payments on an old account, these benefit your credit score, and if you close that account, they don't have it anymore.
Oh, that's good to
Credit bureaus
know.
don't have it, yeah.
That's really good to know. So for people that think that opening credit will help their credit score, it's actually better to keep old credit cards open than to...
Yes, especially if they have a good payment history.
Oh, that's okay. That's really good to
Because
know.
old accounts, good payment history, and if you close it, you lost that 10 years or 12 years of payment history, and that could really
Really
drop
hurt
your
you.
score.
Gotcha. Okay.
I know Dave Ramsey preaches on no debt, pay cash, save your money,
Right.
which is great. I believe that too. It's fantastic. But I want to say don't be afraid to use credit.
Okay.
Just make sure that whatever you're borrowing, your credit payments, you can afford to repay them. Without the use of credit, you will not have a score, and then that can be just as bad as a low one.
Right.
With no credit score.
Right.
Keep a high credit line with a low balance. So
give us an example. Would that be for if you have a $10,000 credit card?
let's say you have $1,000.
Okay.
$1,000 credit card, typically they say they don't want you over 30% usage. So $1,000, you don't want to go over that 300 mark, and less is best. Well, high credit limits, low balances.
And then paying them off monthly would be considered a good thing, or should you keep that balance of the $300? Let's just say.
I would keep it less than 300, but you can charge up to the 300, then pay it back down to 300, or keep your payment at $30 or $40 that you owe.
Okay.
Less is best,
Yes.
but use it. Don't be afraid.
Okay.
Try to maintain a variety of account types for the credit bureaus, so installment loans, revolving, secured lines of credit, things like that, because the variety is good too. So basically, managing your credit score, the few tips would be no late payments, only borrow what you can repay, keep balances low, credit lines high, and keep inquiries to a minimum, and then no collections.
No
Collections are bad.
They're very bad, and some of us have had them, so they're
Yes.
not easy to get off your credit score either.
Correct.
So, are there any tips or anything that you
Yes.
can give to people that have been through the collection or
Yes.
have collections currently?
Yes. With collection accounts, One, most of us know we're gonna have a bill due, we can't afford to pay it, whatever the situation is, you don't have your rainy day fund to pay it off. Call the company before it hits collections. Call them and talk to them about setting up a payment plan. That's a really good thing to do. That way you're not avoiding it where it ends up in collections.
Right.
When something ends up in your collection section of your credit report, even if you pay it off, it stays there.
Gotcha.
So pay the debt off as soon as you can before it hits collections. If it's already in collections, pay it off. When you do pay it off, make sure you get a receipt and you document when you make the payment, the account number, and get a receipt or ask them if they'll remove it from your credit report. Typically, they won't remove it.
Okay. Yeah.
They're quicker to put them on and then they don't want to take them off.
Right.
So you might end up having to use your receipts where you paid it and something from them saying it's paid in full, then to fight it to get it removed or at least to a zero balance.
Gotcha.
Credit scores are very, very important. I'm gonna just give you a quick little example here. So if you're buying a house for $250,000,
Mm-hmm.
you put 5% down, conventional loan, your loan amount is $237,500.
Mm-hmm.
Okay, this might be a lot of numbers, sorry. I'm getting to the big part here. So if you have a 620 credit score,
Mm-hmm.
your interest rate is gonna be 5.625%. That's
Ouch.
in the last
Well-
couple days, interest rate, everything, basically. A 720 credit score, you're gonna have a 3.5% interest rate.
That's a big difference.
It's huge. Well, and then the dollar amount for in your pocket, you're paying an extra $301 a month
Oh my
in your mortgage
gosh.
payment. That's just principal and interest, additional 301,
Wow.
because your credit score is 620 compared to a 720.
That's a big deal. Big
Well,
big
yeah,
deal.
it depends on how much you can
You can
purchase.
borrow, right?
Yeah,
Mhm.
and also what fits your budget.
Definitely.
So a good credit score is very important. It affects your loan programs, the interest rates, your mortgage insurance, your car loans, your homeowner's insurance, your vehicle, everything. So ultimately,
have a
just
good credit score.
manage your credit. It's very important, and it's hard to fix once you mess it up. But there are people out there to help, and if you need anything, you can always call me. So.
Exactly. Tiffany's really good. I know I work with a lot of people that have issues with their credit score and they really don't know where to go from there, what to do to fix it. So she definitely gave us some really good pointers on how to increase your credit score. But to talk more in depth about, because everybody's a little bit different too. We all
Yes.
have different debt. I know I've been talking to several of you through the financial support group that we have via Facebook, that they are really bad in debt with medical bills. So is there any pointers on medical bills that you can give? I know collections are kind of a toughie, I know.
So typically, mortgage lenders, we turn our head to medical debt, medical collections, typically. Unless it shows up as a lien when we go to pull the title report and they pull up your name and there's a lien against you.
Gotcha.
But typically, on your credit report, we turn our head.
So
If
that's
you
a
have
good thing.
Right, if you have a collection account for Verizon,
Mm-hmm.
which I see a lot of those with Sprint, Verizon,
AT&T.
or even DirecTV, when you had to return those little hoppers and people didn't, and then it
Yes.
ended up in collections. So those type of collections, we do want them paid off. It's not always necessary for the loan to go through, but medical, typically we do turn our head.
Definitely.
Most people have medical collections.
Right, it's kind of a big deal. How does it affect, do you know, how does it really affect their credit score if they do have medical
Collections,
collections?
any collections are gonna affect your credit score.
Okay.
So you have a medical collection and let's say it's 2 years old.
Mm-hmm.
It's not even reporting to the credit bureaus. You could go in and pay it off, but then it's gonna update to a zero balance and then they're gonna report it to the collection agency and then it's gonna ding you again. So sometimes it's really best, go in and talk to someone,
Definitely.
have them pull your credit report and talk to someone and go over it with them, because you might be paying things off that aren't really gonna affect you, and it might make it worse too. There's so
Gotcha.
many different scenarios, so
Talk to someone first
And
before
disclaimer.
you pay, or
yes. And my disclaimer is I am not licensed credit repair. That is not my job. I am a mortgage loan officer, so
Right.
um,
There's only so much we can say too, of course. Yeah.
right, and
Yeah.
every person is different, every credit report is different, the way
Right.
everything affects it, so.
And we deal a lot also, not just with medical in our line of work with where we see people have debt with, but also I've been seeing a lot more with student debt and student loans. There's a lot more because college is expensive. We all have some type of debt with college. Some of us have. So I've been seeing that a lot more where they are asking about, what about my student debt? Is that going to negatively affect me if I have that debt under my name and my credit score?
We have to use it in your, as debt when we look at your loan. As for credit, if you're paying on time and you're making all of your payments, you're fine.
Okay. Just make those payments on time.
Those student loans follow you no matter what.
Mhm.
You can't even get rid of them in a bankruptcy, so
Wow.
just make the payments. Sometimes it's hard, but
Mhm.
just make the payments.
Definitely.
A lot of people have them in deferment, which is fine, but we still have to use whatever payment they actually have when they're looking at buying a home.
Gotcha.
As long as you make your payments, your credit's gonna be okay. And don't max out credit cards. Don't
Right.
go out and
Yes.
don't buy what you can't pay for.
That's why you have an emergency fund. That's why you have your budget set in place, like we've been talking about for the last 6-7 weeks. So
Budgets
Big
are
deal.
amazing.
budgets are really good to have for sure.
And those will help you pay off those debts too if you're trying to get out of debt. If you have a budget, you'll be able to set for a certain amount that goes towards this credit card. Once you get that paid off, then you take that amount, which I'm pretty sure Dave Ramsey preaches this too.
Yes.
It's snowball
Mhm,
effect.
the snowball.
Yep.
Mhm.
You go in and you pay that one off, and then whatever you were paying towards that credit card, once it's paid off, goes on to the next one. And if you have to, start with the smaller cards or the higher interest rate cards. Smaller ones probably be easier, and then just work
Right.
yourself up.
Exactly. Exactly.
And don't close the accounts. If you have good payment history, don't close them.
And that's very important. I had no idea about that, so I learned something new big time today. That was really important.
Yeah.
Well, awesome.
Learn something new every day.
Exactly. Is there anything else that you think you want to add to our credit score?
No, just manage your credit. It's important. It follows you for your whole life.
Mm-hmm.
And it's very hard to repair if you mess up.
Definitely.
So, I help people all the time with that, and we're here to help. And
Exactly. Talk to somebody, because that's where the first step is. Don't be afraid to talk to somebody, or
right,
don't be afraid to talk to someone if we pull your credit.
Don't be
it's-
scared.
Don't be scared that it's going to negatively affect your credit score
or even
either if you're checking it.
intimidate people. People get scared. They're like, "Oh, you're gonna pull my credit," and they're like, "I'm like, it's okay, because you know what? If it's good, great. If it's something we need to work on, we'll work on it.
Then you know what you need to do to work on it.
Mhm.
Exactly.
We're here to help.
Right. We are. Awesome.
yeah.
Well, thank you, Tiffany.
Thank you, Aubrey,
Been
for
a-
having me. I appreciate it.
Yes, I think this is a good kind of intro to credit scores. So if anyone has any questions, please feel free to comment in the page below and let us know, because we're here to help. Again, Tiffany over here at First Colony Mortgage, she's here to help, and I'm here to help too. So let's get you guys back up in your credit scores, and we gotcha. So till next time, thank you.
Thank you.